The ever-growing divisiveness in American politics can get downright nasty.
And now a new book out wants to help Christians better understand our political climate and the role that God plays in all of it. It's called We Gonna Be All Right, and the message is of hope for believers in a God of social justice. Now, the author is Reverend Peter Spann. He's here in our studio now to talk about it. Welcome.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
So tell us what prompted you to write the book?
Well, the book was prompted. I pastor the Corone Baptist Church in Washington, D.C. I also teach here at the Washington Baptist Theological Seminary in Mount Rainier, Maryland. But the book was really inspired by a lot of what we're seeing here, the political divisiveness that we're seeing here in the country today. And we really just wanted to get back to the faith of Martin King, the faith of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the faith of Howard Thurman, to really give a balanced view of what I believe is an accurate portrayal of the scriptures.
All right, we just saw a moment ago the actual cover of your book here. You want to tell us a little bit more about how it specifically is for Christians?
Absolutely. Well, I wouldn't say it's specifically for Christians. I think it's for anyone who is interested in the issues of social justice. But obviously, as a pastor, I'm writing from primarily a Christian perspective. But I think just the notions of community, the notions of us working together, the notions of us having hope, those transcend, I believe, all political and even denominational lines. And so I really think it's a book to really inspire conversation, a book to really get us back to loving one another. I just think the issue of social justice sometimes can be sort of doom and gloom, but I really wanted this book to be inspirational and aspirational around those issues, and prayerfully that'll be the message.
Right, and so it's obviously a very important message to get out. And when you are out talking to people and they're just frustrated with politics in Washington, what do you tell them so that they don't get too frustrated and just want to give up on it altogether?
Well, Janine, I just tell them we're going to be all right, you know. The book is inspired, obviously, from a song a few years back by Kendrick Lamar, and that song was actually used as more of an anthem for the Black Lives Matter movement. But that is the crux of the book, to inspire people that, yes, our times are very difficult. Discourse can be alarming at times. It can be hard to talk with family members. People talk about difficult times at the Thanksgiving dinner table and even with coworkers. But I really just wanted to assure people of faith and even people that aren't of faith that we are going to be all right, that we've seen tough times, and that these times, they've not come to stay, but they've come to pass.
All right, and let's talk a little bit more about some other tough topics that might just come up, like you're saying, at the dinner table or at work, gay marriage, abortion, things like that. So how do you recommend that people address these issues without offending anyone?
Well, the Bible tells us to speak the truth in love, and so even if you may not agree or you may have whatever views that you hold, we all want to have a loving approach to how we talk and how we deal with everyone, and we want to obviously take into account each other's lives, take into account each other's experiences. And so when I think we can begin to look at each other as human beings and not as topics, and not look at each other in a way that only defines us by some type of limited political point of view, I think when we see each other as humans, that makes the conversation a little bit more easier.
Yeah, and it's a little hard sometimes when you're on social media. You tend to not look at somebody as being human.
Absolutely. Social media, I mean, has really just opened the door for people to say things that they normally would not say to someone's face. And social media, I think it can work for good, it can work for bad. And so I think a lot of people really need to monitor social media. I think we need to treat social media as if we were conversing with that individual, and try to really have more of a civil and humane discourse.
All right, so your book, We Gonna Be All Right, you have a book signing coming up October the 5th. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The book signing is coming up October the 5th. We'll be at the Fort Foote Baptist Church in Fort Washington, Maryland. Reverend Dr. Joseph Lyles is the pastor there. It will be at 10 a.m. We'll be signing books. We'll be having a good time. I'll be bringing with me a good friend of mine, Bishop Antonio Palmer. He's a publisher. And aside from me talking about the book, he's going to discuss how to get your book published, how to take your book from your mind to your manuscript. And so a lot of people have ideas, a lot of individuals want to do things. And so I didn't want it to primarily be about me in the book per se. I wanted to give back. And so I brought Bishop Palmer with me, a publisher. He owns his own publishing company, to be able to come and talk to people about how they can get their ideas out in the public space as well.
All right, and we want to thank you here for joining us, Reverend or Pastor Spann. And we want to tell everybody again what that book signing date is. That's on Saturday, October 5th at Fort Foot Baptist Church in Fort Washington. And the book is also available through Amazon.